The story begins in a dense forest, where a man named Joseph is setting traps with his daughter Renee to catch game. Joseph is a professional hunter who has been living in this forest for many years with his wife and daughter. They survive by eating the meat of the animals they hunt and selling their hides. Osoph carefully notes down the details of every hunt and the method of each trap in his notebook because he is an expert hunter. At the same time, he is also teaching Renee how to hunt. Renee has already learned many survival techniques in the jungle from her dad. However, she is still very young, so she isn't yet very skilled at hunting. As usual, father and daughter are out in the forest checking the traps they had set. Suddenly they find that one of their traps contains only the severed leg of an animal. The rest of the body is missing. Seeing this, both of them become worried. Then Renee says, "It must be him again. He's back." We aren't told yet what she is referring to, but from the expressions on their faces, it's clear that whatever it is extremely dangerous. Something that has stolen their trapped animals before. This isn't the first time this has happened to them. O's PH speaks into the walkie-talkie and tells his wife Anne to go to the city and sell the animal hides they have. Since they didn't catch anything today, they also have a dog that helps them hunt, but due to lack of food, it has become quite weak. Anne leaves for the city with the hides, but she looks very anxious. Day by day, the price of hides is dropping, so they don't get enough money, and their financial situation is getting worse. Even buying basic food supplies has become difficult. The shopkeeper tells Anne that ordinary animal hides sell cheaply. If she wants more money, she'll need to bring wolf hides. But Anne knows that hunting a wolf is not easy at all. While leaving the shop, Anne notices some posters advertising rental houses and job openings. In her heart, she wishes they had a home in the city and that she could have a decent job. But they have lived in the jungle their entire lives and know nothing except hunting. That's why they survive by selling hides. Feeling sad, Anne returns home. There, Joseph is teaching Renee how to skin an animal. At night, the whole family is eating dinner, but no one is in a good mood because there isn't much to eat due to lack of money. Then Renee tells her mom, "Today, again, that thing stole our catch." Hearing this, Anne gets angry at Joseph because he hadn't told her about it. She sends Renee to her room and starts arguing with Joseph, saying that they must do something about it soon, or all three of them will starve to death in reality. There is a werewolf living in this forest, so dangerous that no one dares to go near it. It kills and eats anything it sees. According to Anne, the werewolf has returned because of them. It knows it can get easy food from their traps. Joseph has tried many times to catch this werewolf, but it is so clever that it has never been trapped. Anne suggests they should go to the city and report it to the police station. Joseph refuses, saying he will set new traps for it at dawn, and they will catch it soon. Anne tries to convince him that they should leave the forest and start a new life in the city where their daughter can be happy, attend a good school, and have a chance to succeed like other children. She says she'll find a decent job in the city to improve their situation, but Joseph replies that they don't know how to do anything except hunt, so they can't survive anywhere else. Before dawn, Joseph is about to go set traps for the wolf. Renee insists on going with him. Joseph doesn't want to take her because she's still too young. But after her repeated pleading, he agrees. When Anne finds out in the morning, she becomes furious with Joseph. She scolds him over the walkie-talkie. Joseph reassures her that if anything goes wrong, or if he locates the wolf, he'll send Renee straight back home. A little further along, Joseph spots the wolf's paw prints. Realizing the wolf is nearby, he immediately sends Renee back home for safety. Before she leaves, he gives her a gun and says the forest is very thick. If anything comes toward you, shoot without hesitation. Renee starts walking back slowly. But on the way, she hears strange noises all around her, which frighten her a lot. Meanwhile, Anne had gone to fetch water from the stream and feels like something is following her. Scared, she hurries back home. Renee, now very frightened, starts looking around in panic and eventually sits down in the forest. By now, Joseph has spotted the wolf. He quietly approaches and pulls out his gun to shoot it. The moment he fires, Renee hears the gunshot and realizes her dad is nearby. Gathering courage, she starts moving forward. But when Joseph reaches the spot to check the wolf's body, it's gone, meaning the bullet didn't hit and the wolf escaped. Joseph becomes very worried. Then his eyes fall on a severed human female arm that the wolf had been eating. Joseph panics, remembering he had just sent Renee back alone. He fears she might have become the wolf's prey. He rushes forward, and what he sees next makes his legs give way. There are many dead bodies of women lying around, brutally killed and dismembered. It's clear that no wolf could have done this. Only a human could be responsible. There is a killer in the forest murdering women. Joseph becomes extremely anxious for his wife and daughter. He can handle a wolf, but protecting them from this dangerous murderer will be much harder. He returns home, sits quietly, and thinks about how to save his family from this killer. He doesn't tell his wife or daughter anything because he doesn't want them to panic. At dawn the next day, Joseph returns to the place where the women's bodies were found. Later, he lies to and over the walkie-talkie, saying he's gone to catch the wolf and won't return until he does. In truth, he is gone to hunt the killer, not the wolf. Meanwhile, Anne and Renee are near the river when Renee realizes their dog has been missing for a long time. Worried, since she loves the dog very much, she goes into the forest alone to search for it. Suddenly, it's the same werewolf that had been stealing their catches appears in front of her and arrives just then. Both mother and daughter are terrified. Anne remembers what Joseph had told them. If any animal tries to attack, shout loudly to scare it away. She starts screaming at the top of her lungs. The plan works. The wolf gets scared and runs off. Taking the chance, both of them run back home, but the dog is still missing. So Anne, gun in hand, nervously heads back into the forest to look. But in the jungle, finally finds her dog, provided. By now, the wolf had already killed the dog. Seeing this, Anne is completely shattered from the inside. She is heartbroken over the death of her dog. When she returns home, Anne lies to Renee and tells her that they couldn't find their dog anywhere. In the forest, Renee tries to comfort her, saying that as soon as their dad comes back home, they will definitely search for the dog together. That night, both mother and daughter have dinner and go to sleep. The next morning, Joseph still doesn't return, nor does any message come through on the walkie-talkie. This makes Anne feel that something is wrong. She becomes extremely worried about her husband. After this, both Anne and Renee go back into the forest again. When they check their traps, they realize that once again their prey has gone missing from the traps. There notices a ring lying on the ground. She is shocked as soon as she sees it. Her hands start trembling with fear. The ring could belong to the girl who was eaten by the wolf. Frustrated and desperate, Anne goes to the city police station to file a report against the wolf so that it can be caught as soon as possible. Meanwhile, a forest ranger officer is passing through the jungle with the dead body of a bear. On the way, he notices a car parked in a deserted area of the dense forest. Seeing a car in such an isolated place makes him suspicious, but he ignores it and continues towards the office. Where Anne is already present at the station, the officer tells Anne that a wolf is just an animal and they cannot file a report against it, because hunting is its natural behavior, whether it steals prey or hunts on its own. Moreover, the inner forest area does not come under the jurisdiction of that police station. Anne realizes that she won't get any help from there, so she leaves the station feeling disappointed. That day, a baby deer is trapped in one of their traps. While returning home, Anne takes the deer with her. Joseph still hasn't come back. It has been another full day since he left, and now they are completely out of food and supplies. On top of that, the wolf is still a major threat. So whatever needs to be done, Anne has to do it herself. Anne teaches Renee how to skin an animal. Later, they cook the meat, eat together, and go to sleep. In the middle of the night, strange and terrifying sounds start coming from the forest. Both mother and daughter wake up in fear. Anne quickly grabs her gun and goes outside to check. Outside, she finds an unknown man in terrible condition. He asks Anne for help, as he is badly injured and appears to be close to death, and immediately brings the man inside the house. Next morning, when Renee goes near the man, he regains consciousness. Seeing this, Renee gets scared and runs to wake her mother. The man's throat is dry due to dehydration, so Anne quickly gives him water. She then examines his leg and sees that it is badly wounded. Anne stitches his leg to stop the bleeding. Renee starts suspecting the man and questions why he was wandering alone in the jungle at midnight. She reminds her mother that her dad had always warned them not to trust strangers. Anne replies that his condition was critical and if they hadn't helped him, he would have died. She also says that if Joseph were there, he would have helped him too. 2 days later, when forest officers pass through the same area again, the car is still parked there. The officers get worried seeing the car in the same place for 2 days and note down its number in a notebook after 2 days. The man fully regains consciousness and tells Anne that his name is Lou. Anne asks him why he was alone in such a dense forest and what brought him there. Lou explains that he is a professional photographer who travels to different forests to take pictures. While passing through this forest, his car broke down, so he left it behind and continued on foot. While walking ahead, he was attacked by someone, possibly a wolf. Since it was dark, he couldn't see clearly here. We learned that the car the forest officer noticed actually belonged to Lou. Days pass, and Lou's condition improves significantly. Anne and Renee continue trying to trap the wolf, but they fail every time. Meanwhile, forest officers grow increasingly concerned because people, especially young women, are disappearing from the forest. The officer decides to personally investigate the forest, which turns out to be his biggest mistake as he moves deeper into the forest. His foot suddenly gets caught in a trap set by Anne and Renee. When he tries to free himself, his hand also gets trapped. He is now completely stuck and unable to move. Back at the police station, a female officer receives a voice message from the forest officer's wife, saying that her husband hasn't returned home since last night. The officer tries to contact him, but there is no response. Worried, she heads into the forest to search for him by now. Anne is extremely anxious about Joseph, as nearly a week has passed since he went missing. Taking Joseph's map, Anne goes into the forest to search for him. She finds a rabbit caught in one of the traps. She doesn't want to kill it, but with no other option left, she is forced to do so. As Anne moves further ahead, she discovers Joseph's dead body lying on the ground. Seeing her husband dead, Anne breaks down completely. At that moment, she realizes that Joseph was not killed by a wolf, but by Lou. Lou is the real killer who abducts and murders women in the forest. Joseph had caught him, but Lou killed Joseph instead. However, before dying, Joseph had injured Lou so badly that he was almost on the verge of death. This realization deeply disturbs him, because the man she helped and saved was actually her husband's murderer. And immediately rushes back home as Renee is alone there and Lou is with her. Meanwhile, the female officer reaches the forest. When the trapped forest officer senses someone nearby, he fires his gun to signal for help. The female officer hears the shots, locates him, and calls for backup. Unfortunately, by the time help arrives, the forest officer has already died due to excessive blood loss. The police notice blood trails in the forest and begin following them. Anne carefully enters her house and sees Renee sleeping peacefully. But Lou is nowhere to be seen. He is hiding behind the door. Lou now knows that Anne has discovered the truth. He suddenly attacks her. A violent fight breaks out between Anne and Lou, during which Anne's gun accidentally fires. The gunshot wakes Renee. Before Renee can help her mother, Lou attacks her and knocks her unconscious. By now, police have entered the forest, but the forest officer has already died. Following the blood trail, they move to Warden's house. Ow! When Anne regains consciousness, Lou demands the car keys from her. Anne agrees to give them, but first asks about her daughter Renee. Lou gives no clear answer, but says that none of this would have happened if Joseph hadn't interfered with his work. To protect his secret, Lou killed Joseph and now he plans to kill Anne. Twin notices a trap nearby. Seizing the opportunity, she smashes it into Lou's face and then attacks him with a sharp object, knocking him unconscious. When it enters the next room, she breaks down in tears. Reen's dead body is lying there, and is completely devastated. Consumed by grief and rage, she decides she will not spare Lou. She will take revenge for both her husband and her daughter. Anne hangs Lou with a rope, puts on her headphones, and starts listening to music. She picks up a sharp tool and begins skinning Lou alive. Lou hangs there like an animal while Anne brutally peels off his skin. This is the most disturbing scene of the movie. Following the blood trail, the police finally reach the house, but by then, Anne is already finished. She has completely skinned Lou's body and walks outside carrying the skin of his face. The police officers are shocked and horrified. Inside the house, they find Lou still alive, but in unbearable pain and critical condition. Outside, Anne sits, quietly listening to music, remembering her husband and daughter. And with this, the movie comes to an end.